Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And apparently, Fox wants WWE to be edgier. They want edgier content from WWE here. So here's an article from Uproxx. You know, all the major dirt sheets are reporting on it. But you know, some of news sites like this one, like Uproxx, are reporting on it, and they're saying that they want edgier content, that they want you know, them to, you know, be more adult oriented. And here in the article they state, we keep hearing things about Fox TV's big plans for SmackDown Live and possibly other WWE products, but with the new TV deal not going into effect until October, we don't have any official details to go on other than knowing that SmackDown will move to Friday nights and still broadcast live. That leaves a lot of room for speculation, especially considering that this is a move from cable to broadcast, although that means a lot less than it used to. And Fox has a pretty different corporate culture and brand than USA, which is owned by NBC Universal. And that's very true. You know, there is, you know, that's a big jump right there. You know, USA is not as big of a network as Fox is. I mean, that, you know, that's a pretty big network. USA is, you know, not that it's a small network, but NBC Universal, you know, we see their media approach and everything. They're more PC, you know, they own, you know, the more liberal networks like MSNBC. So, you know, that's why WWE tries to dance around. And that's the thing, what we need to kind of realize about it. Why does WWE seem to cater to PC culture? It's because it's owned by NBC Universal. And that's why, you know, we see all we see from SNL and everything. And we saw the terrible comedy from those SNL actors. You know, Fox as a network is bigger than USA, even though it's owned by NBC Universal. It's not NBC itself. So, Fox is a bigger network. They've always been known for grittier, more rude humor. So, you know, this is worth taking with a grain of salt. But via Ringside News, we heard that Raja is reporting that Fox is looking for a more edgier product, that they aren't looking to give into the PC culture that dominates current WWE programming. And we see that, you know, some other things right here in the next paragraph. It's worth reading. Obviously, we all come at these things from our own perspective, but I, for one, am baffled by the notion that WWE programming is currently dominated by PC culture. This is a company that promotes shows in Saudi Arabia. That's a very good point. Devotes much less time to women than men and pays them much less too. I don't know how true that is. See, like, okay, you gotta understand, Uproxx itself is a very PC, you know, news site. So, and this is by Ellie Collins. So this is being written by a woman. So there's gonna be a bit of a bias there. You know, Uproxx is pretty famous for, you know, some liberal stuff that they've put out in the past. So, you know, I'm sure that's pretty true, but that's because the women don't draw as much as the men. You know, it's a good point about Saudi Arabia, and currently only has one openly LGBTQ performer under contract, and I guess they're talking about Velveteen Dream, whose sexuality goes unmentioned on the show itself. So what does a less PC WWE product even look like? The return of lingerie matches and a heel turn for Mustafa Ali. That doesn't sound promising. I am really sad that I chose Uproxx to read this from, but you know, I figured I'd share it. Yeah, so I mean, there you go. I mean, you can see that already it's upsetting. And this is good, because WWE programs should upset people. If it upsets people, that would be Attitude Era. It used to upset people all the time. Beautiful. Do that. If you could put out a product and Uprock starts complaining about it, look, Uprock hasn't even, you haven't even shown any signs of moving towards an edgier product, besides one lame-ass, Mandy Rose and Uso segment in the hotel room. You haven't even taken any efforts towards doing that. I mean, but man, oh man, let's just finish up the article. But again, this is really just a rumor, so there's no reason to make a big deal out of it for now. I agree with that. It still remains to be seen. We've heard this before. How many rumors on the dirt sheets have they said, oh, it's going to go back to TV 14. Oh, it's going to be more adult oriented. The same report also says that Fox wants a 2-person commentary booth instead of WWE's usual 3-person version, and that change sounds pretty positive. And I agree with the author on this article. I agree with that assessment. I agree. God bless Fox for that. I am so sick and tired of the 3-man team where they all talk over one another. Thank God that's over with. Thank God they made the decision to fucking put an end to that fucking bullshit. We don't have to watch that ever again. I hope they stay true to it, because there's going to be certain things that WWE is going to have to abide by, whether they like it or not. Now, I'm sure with a strong personality like Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, there's probably going to be a lot of disagreements. But, Fox is probably not going to, be as submissive as NBC Universal. You know what I'm saying? This is a company that's used to having the UFC on their fucking network. So, I think they're going to be expecting something a bit more physical, something a bit more grittier, something a bit edgier. So, that's what, that's what I think. I think they are going to move towards it. But, being edgier, changing the rating to TV 14, we have to remember something. That doesn't necessarily make it good. There was plenty of times when the WWE product was edgier and everything, when they were on UPN and stuff, and they still did a lot of dumb things, stupid things, more entertaining than today things, but still it wasn't really a great, fantastic product like it was during the Attitude Era. They did start to lose a lot of steam, after the year 2000, and, in 2001, there was certain signs of them, the ratings started to go down, and, and WWE has never reclaimed the popularity that they once had. In the year 2000, that was like the last year when they were like super popular, like maybe the beginning of 2001. I'll say that, just to leave a little margin of error. But, an edgier product does not make for a good product, and that's what we have to remember. But, well, as I started to say before, if Uproxx is getting, a liberal publication, a very, sensitive, very easily triggered. You see how triggered that the woman who is writing this article is getting, how Ellie is getting here. She's saying, like, oh, they're not already, edgy enough. See, that's the thing. So if they get edgier, if they get more offensive, if they start making the women sexier, more sex appeal and stuff like that, if they bring back the lingerie matches and get rid of the we're women empowerment bullshit, that phony business, this is the thing about the women's thing that even the marks need to realize. If deep down Vince McMahon doesn't want to do it, and they're not even going to put any heart into it, what is the point? Does it make you happy just seeing the women there main eventing Raw if no one's watching it, if no effort's being put into it, if their heart's not really in it? I mean, still, wouldn't that still make them sexist in your eyes? Because they're not even giving them, like the full-on attention. And they shouldn't, because they're not a draw. And, you know, first of all, when I watch Raw and I see Bayley and Sasha Banks beating the shit out of Tamina and Nia Jax, I mean, that right there should just tell you that this is not going to be over, that no one's going to buy into this except the most desperate of the smarks. And that's about it. So, yeah, I mean, you see right away, oh, what were they going to do? Turn Mustafa Ali heel? Like, right away saying, like, that the WWE is going to be, like, racist and, like, racially profile the stars. And, you know, they have an LGBT performer, but, like, they're not shoving him down your throat. They're not saying, you know, hey, guys, he's gay. You know, they're not, like, openly, like, announcing it and making a big, huge deal about it. You know, like I said, this is how it is in media. You know, if that's how it is in video games. That's how it is everywhere now. You know, in movies, TV. You know, it's got to be constant PC culture. And so I think this is a nice, healthy move for WWE for going to Fox, because maybe Fox could reawaken that beast within them. You know, that maybe they could reawaken the sleeping giant and maybe get WWE back on track. You know, and maybe when they start to taste success again, maybe, just maybe, I mean, come on, you know. I'm hey, for everyone who accuses me of not being positive, I'm just saying that there's a smidge of hope here. And I know, you know, it's pretty hopeless to really hope for anything for WWE. But, you know, now that Fox is a much different network than USA, and that is, you know, that is good. When Ellie in this article says that WWE, you know, is going to a network with a much different corporate culture, that has a lot to do with it. I think more than people would care to admit. And I don't think a lot of people in the dirt sheets are smart enough to really realize that and analyze it. But that's a very good point. So, you know, am I happy about this? Well, yeah, I think, yes, if it gets a little bit edgier, if they do a little bit more adult-oriented stuff, and they're forced to producing good content, because it doesn't really seem like NBC Universal, the USA Network, really pushes them to do anything. You know, they're just fine. They get the ad revenue, you know, from the third hour on Raw. But, you know, it's like, aside from that, it doesn't really seem like they ever critique the product or say, hey, you know, guys, maybe you should try implementing this into the show to make it a little bit better. But it seems like Fox is actually, like, watching the product, and, you know, they might not really know too much about wrestling, but they're probably, you know, they've seen some old clips. They've, you know, they might, some of them might be familiar with, you know, the glory days of wrestling. They might be like, okay, this is a good brand to have. It's a major brand. They do have quite a bit of fans. They, you know, they have more fans than any other wrestling promotion currently. So they're probably like, okay, this is worth buying into. So, but they're like, you know, we need to change a few things around because, you know, they're not that good. They, you know, maybe they're not going to be as good as they used to be, but we could get them to be a little bit better. So at least they're critiquing the product, and I think that's a positive step forward for WWE, and definitely beneficial to Fox themselves. So, you know, and if it's pissing off people like Uprocks, then, you know, that's all the better. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to see, you know, later on in the year when they move to Fox, you know, how it's gonna go. I mean, so that'll be really interesting. Are we gonna have, is like Raw gonna be like super PC, and SmackDown that is like, you know, for so long, remember, SmackDown would be the one, like, if a wrestler started to bleed, it would go into black and white. Remember, you know, they would always try to tone it down a little bit more for SmackDown because Raw was TV 14, but SmackDown was TV PG. You know, it always, you know, Raw would go a little bit further a lot of the time. You know, they would bleep out the curses and stuff like that. You know, a lot of times SmackDown would be pretty raunchy. But now, are we going to have, like Raw is going to be super PC, but SmackDown's going to be super raunchy? I don't know, but that's pretty interesting. Let's see what happens, guys. So, there you go. There's my opinion on that. There's a little bit of news for you. If you liked the video, please hit a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And please subscribe if you haven't already. And click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time.